surround little Israel. It's all surrounding Israel. And we know from prophecy that Israel will be the target of a lot of persecution in the last days. Even now, there's a conflict between the Palestinians and Israel. See? And that will play a role in the last days. Jesus said this, Matthew 24. There will, as we approach the end times, there will be wars and rumors of wars. See? He said, when this happens, see that you be not troubled. The end is yet by and by. You know, it's getting close, but this is not the end yet. He separates wars and rumors of wars from what he says next. Then he says, for nation shall rise against nation. It's going to be more than just a rumor. It's going to be more than just civil unrest, internal conflict. You know, nation will rise against nation. See? And then as we approach the end, other things are going to happen. So what do we do in the meantime? Remember what we emphasize in every session. Know what the scripture says and then watch. 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 See what God is doing. See how this is going to play out. And beware of people who know, who claim to know. If God hasn't told us how it's going to work out or what this is, then why would anybody come but sensationalism? If I want you to think that I know something you don't know. If I got the inside track on what God's doing. You know, they wouldn't say that, but that's, you know, in effect what no, if he, watch, that's what he told us. Watch, see what he's doing. See if Israel is involved. See how this will play out. There's a reason for that. The scripture does tell us, yes, I guess I can say it here and then we'll just look at it later. The scripture does tell us that as we get to the very end of time, there will be a 10-nation confederacy. 10 nations. I don't know if you remember when we looked at Daniel's vision and he saw this statue and, you know, with a head of gold and the silver and brass all the way down, you know, till he got to the feet, and then there were feet and 10 toes. And these 10 toes are just 10 nations. They interpreted that in Daniel. He told us what it was. And these will be the 10 nations, the last ones to rise up, and then they will be crushed by the stone that was hewn out of the mountain with no hands. That's the kingdom of Christ. So this 10-nation confederacy will be the last one before Christ comes and sets up his kingdom. Out of this 10-nation confederacy will come one who is called in Scripture Antichrist. He will come out of that 10-nation confederacy. That's why this is important to watch. Watch. And this person will be energized by Satan himself. He will be empowered by Satan. He will do some unusual things. He will, so that they say, if it were possible, he would deceive the very elect. If it were possible, he will do such marvelous feats that people will say, isn't this he? This must be he or him. But Scripture said, no, don't believe it. Let no man deceive you. My coming is not going to be like that. How is my coming going to be? As the lightning shines from the east even unto the west, so shall my coming be. So if somebody says to you, he's out in the desert, don't go out to see him. This is Scripture I'm quoting. If he say he's in the secret place in the temple, don't believe it not. He's not coming like that. So, that's what the Scripture tells us. So then, as we see these nations unrested, it is ripe. The time is ripe for someone to come along and say, look, brethren, you know, let us solve this. Let us, and he's going to guarantee peace. Now, we don't know whether it'll come from an individual or whether they will speak as one nation or whether they will speak as a league of nations. We don't know. But the Scripture says that he, this Antichrist, this prince that shall come, will renew the covenant with many for 1 week. And we learned from Daniel 2 that this week was a week of 7 years, or not 7 days, but a week of 7 years. All right. Looking at our, okay, so that's what the nations are all about then. This is what we wanted to say about the nations, and we didn't say it last week. Treat it like the weather and watch.